So for this lesson, we are solving literal equations. Remember, literal equations have more than one variable. So I've given you one literal equation here, y minus 4x equals 10. On the left side over here, we are going to solve this for y. So over here, we're going to solve for y. Over here, we're going to solve for x. So the first thing we're going to do, as always, is draw our line down the middle. And I'm going to label my sides. If I'm solving for y, that means I want y's on the left. And remember, I want everything else on the right side. So all you have to figure out is what's on the wrong side. And the thing that's on the wrong side is this minus 4x here. And we labeled this up here as y so that we knew that everything on this left side of the line over here needed to just have a y with it. So now we need to actually move the minus 4x. To move the minus 4x, we're going to do the opposite of minus 4x, which is to plus 4x. The rule says if I do something to one side, I have to do it to the other side. So I'm going to add 4x to both sides. So minus 4x plus 4x are going to cancel. I'm left with y on the left side. On the right side over here, I can't combine 10 and 4x because 10 is by itself. It's a constant. 4x has a variable with it, so I'm just going to rewrite it as 10 plus 4x, or I could rewrite it as 4x plus 10. So now we're going to move over here and we're going to solve problem 2 that I gave you. So if you notice, it is the same problem, but this time it says to solve for x. So I'm still going to draw my line down the middle. I'm going to label my sides, but this time I'm solving for x. So I want x by itself, and I want everything else on the other side. So all I have to figure out is what's in the wrong place. Well, if everything with an x should be over here and that's it, then y is in the wrong place, so we need to get rid of this y. This y doesn't have a sign with it, so that means it is positive. You always look at the sign that's in front of the number. So to get rid of something that's positive, we're going to minus y from both sides. So my plus y minus y cancel. I get negative 4x equals 10 minus y. So my x is still not quite by itself. Recall that when you have negative 4x, a number and a letter together, they're multiplied. When you have a coefficient and a variable, there's a multiplication symbol there. So to undo something that's multiplied, we do the opposite of multiplication, which is division. When we divide everything. It's very important to note that. So when you divide everything. Our negative 4's are going to cancel. I'm left with x equals 10 divided by negative 4 is going to give me negative 2.5. And negative y divided by negative 4 is positive, because a negative is a positive, and I'm just going to leave it as y over 4. I could also rewrite this, and this is very, very, very important that you pay attention here. If I rewrote this, it would be x equals y over 4 minus 2.5. Notice, and this is what this really, really matters. So notice that this 2.5 here was negative. So when I rewrote it, I had to take that sign with it because that negative sign is attached to that 2.5. It would be wrong. It would be wrong if you wrote it as x equals y negative y over 4 plus 2.5. That is not correct. Okay, that is incorrect. So we could either write it as x equals negative 2.5 plus y over 4, or x equals y over 4 minus 2.5. So we have two problems here. For both of these, the instructions are to solve for length. Well, length, I'm going to assume from looking at this, is the letter L. Okay, that's an L in cursive. So if I need to solve this for length, the very first thing I'm going to do as before is I'm still going to draw my line. I'm still going to label my sides. So I'm going to label the left side as L because that's where my L currently is. I'm going to label my right side as EE for everything else. So if everything on the left side of the line should have an L with it, well, this is okay because that has an L, but this 2W is not okay, so I need to get rid of that. So I'm going to do the opposite of plus 2W, which is minus 2W. and the 2L will still be left on the left. 2W minus 2W is going to cancel. I'm going to go ahead and write my L as a cursive L because I tend to think that it's a 1 instead, and so it becomes 21 instead of 2L. So, and then on the right side equals P minus 2W. Remember, I cannot combine P and 2W together because P is P and 2W is W, and this letter are different. So now I need to get rid of this 2 that's in front of our L. Remember that 2 that's in front of our L is multiplied. So we're going to divide, and when we divide, remember we divide everything. So we end up with L equals, because my 2's cancel, P divided by 2 is still P divided by 2. And then if I have negative 2 divided by 2, I'm going to end up with negative 1 W. I could also write this as L equals, P divided by 2 is the same thing as 1/2 P, and 1 W is the same thing as just W. So either form of that is acceptable. So both these equations would be correct. So if I look at my other one, I have V equals LWH. Well, remember, I'm going to rewrite this. This is really V equals L times W times H. So if I'm solving this, I want to get my L's on one side and everything else on the other. Well, my L is currently on the right, so I'm going to write L's on the right this time, and I'm going to write EE on the left. So if I need to get rid of something that's multiplied, well, I do the opposite of multiplication, which is division. And I need to get rid of 2 things that are multiplied, the W and the H. So that's what I'm going to do, is divide both sides by W times H. My W's cancel on the right, and my H's cancel on the right. I can't really do anything else on the left, so I have V over WH equals L. And this would be my answer. Whenever they're multiplication problems, they're actually really, really, really easy.